The quiet weakening. The grocery store parking lot was nearly empty that Tuesday morning, the kind of quiet that Martha Allen usually appreciated. She liked getting her errands done early, before the world got too noisy. But as she reached for the bag of oranges in her trunk, something shifted. Her foot caught the edge of a curb, and before she knew it, her knees buckled. The fall wasn't dramatic, more of a slow crumple to the ground, but the embarrassment hit hard. A younger man nearby rushed over. "Ma'am, are you all right?" "I'm fine, thank you," she said quickly, brushing the hair out of her face as she tried to stand. But her legs weren't responding the way they used to. It took 2 tries and the man's outstretched hand to get her upright. That night, she replayed the moment over and over. Not because it hurt, but because it scared her. Later, in the kitchen, she told her daughter, Lisa, what happened over a mug of chamomile tea. "You fell?" Lisa's eyes widened. "Mom, you've got to take it easy." "It wasn't even a real fall," Martha said, waving it off. "I just folded." Lisa paused. "You've been saying your legs feel weak lately. Have you told Dr. Kim?" "It's just part of getting older, sweetie." Lisa didn't look convinced. "What supplements are you taking these days?" Martha pointed to the little tray on the counter. It was lined up neatly, a multivitamin, fish oil, vitamin D, and a soft gel she'd started a few years ago, vitamin E. "This one's supposed to be good for the heart," she said. Lisa frowned, picked up the bottle, and read the label. "Mom, this is 400 IU. That's kind of high." Martha shrugged. "It's what I've always taken." Lisa pulled out her phone. "Let me check something." 10 minutes later, they sat in silence as Lisa read aloud, "Too much vitamin E, especially when taken daily over a long period, can cause muscle weakness and increase fall risk in older adults." Martha sat back, stunned. "But it's supposed to help prevent disease." "Not always. The research has changed, Mom. Sometimes, too much of a good thing really is too much." Later that night, alone in bed, Martha stared at the ceiling. Her legs still felt heavy. She thought of the mornings she used to wake up and walk straight into the garden, no hesitation. Now, she sometimes lingered in bed, waiting for her knees to stop aching. Maybe it wasn't just age. Maybe it was something she could actually change. Bones of glass. Martha sat in the crisp white gown, feet dangling from the edge of the exam table. The paper crinkled beneath her, loud in the otherwise quiet room. Dr. Kim tapped away at the computer, his brow furrowed. "Your bone density scan came back," he said finally, swiveling the screen toward her. "It's not where we'd like it to be." Martha leaned forward, squinting at the grayscale images and numbers she barely understood. "It means your bones are weaker than average for your age," Dr. Kim explained. "Not dangerously so, not yet. But it's a red flag. Especially since you've been experiencing more fatigue and had that fall." Martha gave a tight smile. "Well, I'm not exactly doing cartwheels these days." He didn't laugh. "We need to make a few changes. First, let's talk about your supplements." She nodded. Lisa already looked into it. "I stopped the vitamin E." "That's a good start. But beyond that, we need to look at your diet, your protein intake, and your exercise habits. Sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass, is common with age. It's silent at first, but it can lead to weakness, falls, fractures." Martha sighed. "I just thought, this was normal aging. Slowing down. Some slowing down is normal. But losing strength to the point of risking injury? That's not something we just accept. We can do better." He handed her a printout of recommended foods, protein-rich meals, and a light resistance training schedule. "I want you walking more, short daily walks, even around your living room on rainy days. Add resistance bands or light weights. I know it sounds like a lot, but you have more control than you think. As she left the clinic, the words sarcopenia and osteopenia rang in her ears like a warning bell. On the drive home, Martha turned the radio off. Her mind swirled, not with fear, exactly, but with a strange determination. Her body had become like glass, yes. But maybe it could be reforged, stronger. Even now. That afternoon, she found her old walking shoes in the back of her closet. They were dusty, but still good. She tightened the laces with steady fingers and stepped outside. The sun was bright, and her knees ached a little, but she walked. 1 block. Then 2. Just enough to remind herself, glass might break, but it could also reflect light. Strength in the small things. Martha stood in the kitchen, staring at a bag of frozen spinach. The new grocery list Dr. Kim had handed her felt like a foreign language. Lentils. Greek yogurt. Sardines. She raised an eyebrow at that one. Maybe not sardines, she mumbled, tossing the spinach into a pan with olive oil. Lisa had helped her set up a little meal prep routine. Nothing crazy, just balanced. Protein at every meal. Plenty of calcium. Hydration. It felt almost silly, how hard she had to think about food now. But there was something grounding in it too. Like she was taking control, one bite at a time. Later that week, Martha unpacked a set of resistance bands from the box that arrived on her porch. She laughed to herself. Well, here goes nothing. It started with 10 minutes a day. Pulling the band across her chest. Squatting slowly while holding onto the kitchen counter. Curling soup cans like tiny dumbbells. Each rep made her legs tremble a little. Her arms ached. But when she caught her reflection in the microwave door, she saw something different. Not a frail woman on the edge of a health scare. She saw someone fighting for herself. One afternoon, Lisa stopped by with lunch and found Martha standing on one leg by the counter, trying to improve her balance. Well, look at you, ninja warrior, Lisa teased. Martha grinned, slightly winded. Don't laugh. This is serious business. Lisa's face softened. I'm proud of you, Mom. I know this isn't easy. It's not, Martha admitted. But I'm starting to feel steadier. Like maybe I'm not as fragile as I thought. Lisa hugged her, tighter than usual. You never were. Martha still had aches. Still got tired. But she noticed small victories. Climbing stairs without clutching the rail, lifting a full laundry basket without fear, sleeping deeper at night. She even danced a little in the living room one evening when her favorite Motown song came on. Small things. But mighty. The turning point. The rain tapped gently on the windows as Martha sat curled on the couch, reading. She had almost missed her physical therapy appointment that morning, her knee had flared up. And for a moment, she considered canceling. But she didn't. She showed up, limped through the exercises, and even managed a smile when the therapist added ankle weights. Back home. She thought about that. A few months ago, she would have given up. Today, she didn't. She was changing. Lisa noticed it too. When they met for brunch one Sunday, Martha looked brighter. Did you dye your hair? Lisa asked, sipping her coffee. Nope, Martha said, cracking a smile. Just added a little coconut oil. Got a few compliments at the grocery store. Lisa laughed. You're glowing. Martha shrugged. Maybe I just feel more like myself again. She had started walking every evening around the block, waving at neighbors she once only watched from her window. One man, a retired vet named Frank, had started walking with her. Used to run marathons, he told her. Now I'm happy if I can make it to the end of the street without gasping. We've got that in common, Martha replied with a grin. One night, while folding laundry, she caught her breath, not from the effort, but from a feeling. Peace. She hadn't felt it in a long time. It was quiet, steady. No fanfare. Just the soft realization that she was no longer afraid of her body. Not like before. She trusted it again. And maybe, just maybe, it was beginning to trust her too. The wake-up call. It happened on a Wednesday. Martha was reaching for a dish in the top cabinet when a sharp pain shot through her shoulder. So sudden it made her gasp. She dropped the plate. It shattered. She stood there, frozen, not from the pain, but from the flood of fear. Not again, she thought. Please, not another setback. Later that day, she sat in Dr. Klein's office, holding her breath as he reviewed her X-rays. It's not serious, he finally said, offering a reassuring smile. Just a strain. You've been pushing yourself. Your body's just asking you to slow down a bit. Martha blinked. But I thought I was doing better. You are, he said gently. This isn't failure. This is a message. You're not invincible, but you are resilient. That night, lying in bed with an ice pack on her shoulder, Martha stared at the ceiling. She thought about her old habits, always jumping in too hard. Too fast. Pushing her body like it owed her something. Expecting it to be young again. But she wasn't young. She was wiser. And maybe being strong now didn't mean bulldozing through pain. Maybe it meant listening. The next morning, she returned to her walks. Shorter this time. Slower. But with more attention. She started meditating in the evenings, just 10 minutes, sitting in silence. Feeling her breath move in and out of her healing body. She felt different. Not just sore, but awake. And for the first time in a long time, Martha understood, strength didn't roar. It whispered. And she was finally listening. A new kind of beautiful. Martha stood in front of the mirror, buttoning her blouse for dinner with friends. The top fit differently than it used to, looser in the waist. Snugger around her shoulders. Her hair had streaks of gray now, and the laugh lines around her eyes had deepened. But instead of fussing with her appearance, she smiled at her reflection. She looked real. Not airbrushed. Not 25. But alive. Awake. Strong. At dinner, someone commented on how good she looked. You've got this glow, her friend Carla said, leaning closer. What are you doing differently? Martha laughed. Sleeping. Breathing. Saying no when I need to. Eating real food. Walking more. Carla raised her glass. Well, whatever it is, keep doing it. And Martha realized something. For the first time in years, compliments didn't make her feel like she had to work harder to deserve them. She simply said, thank you. And meant it. Later that evening, she curled up on the couch with a journal in her lap. She wrote. Beauty isn't a shape or a dress size. It's being at peace with yourself. It's softness where there used to be self-judgment. It's strength in stillness. And I'm finally starting to feel beautiful in a way I never did at 30. She closed the journal and breathed in deeply. This was her new kind of beautiful. And it felt good. When strength is quiet. It was a Sunday morning. And the sun had just begun to warm the dew on Martha's front lawn. She sat on the porch, hands wrapped around a steaming mug of tea, listening to the stillness. No TV. No phone. Just quiet. Her neighbor, Tom, waved as he passed by with his dog. You're always out here early, he said. Martha smiled. It's the best part of my day. Because in the stillness, something had changed. She no longer needed to prove she was strong by how much she did or how fast she moved. Her strength now came from something deeper. A few years ago, her schedule had been packed from morning to night: meetings, errands, classes, social obligations. She wore her exhaustion like a badge of honor. But now, she protected her peace like a rare treasure. If someone asked her to do something that drained her, she didn't come up with an excuse. She just said, "No, thank you." No guilt. No apology. Strength, she realized, was often misrepresented as loud and flashy. But true strength? It could be silent. It could look like walking away from drama. Like getting up early to breathe. Like leaving a conversation that didn't feel right. Like smiling to yourself because you finally trust your own rhythm. As the wind rustled the trees, Martha closed her eyes and let the stillness soak in. It was quiet. But it was powerful. The strongest thing she ever did. The anniversary of John's passing came quietly, just like the man himself. No big gestures, no ceremony. Martha stood alone at the lake where they used to fish together, the sun just beginning to crest over the water. She didn't cry. She didn't collapse. She stood still. Strong. Because the strongest thing she ever did wasn't surviving the loneliness or learning to sleep in a quiet house. It wasn't sorting through his clothes or finding old notes tucked in his books. The strongest thing Martha ever did was deciding she would keep living. Fully. Bravely. Quietly. She'd always thought strength meant holding it together. Now she knew it meant letting go. Of the anger. Of the need to explain her choices. Of the idea that her best days were behind her. She spread her arms as the wind moved through her, and for a second, she swore she felt him there. Not beside her. But within her. And that was enough. More than enough. She walked back to her car with the steady stride of someone who had come back to life one morning at a time. Back home, she wrote in her journal. "I thought I had to be tough. Turns out, I just had to be true." And with that, Martha turned the page. Not of the journal. Of her life.